clash of eras.
Curious how time transformed the famous. In today's clash of eras, get ready for the shocking before and after of 35 icons from different eras. Who do you bet made the list? Comment below. Stick around to see the transformations you need to know. Let's go! Tom Cruise. In the 80s, Tom Cruise soared high as Maverick in Top Gun, quickly becoming one of Hollywood's biggest heartthrobs and action stars. Today, he continues to defy gravity and the laws of time in franchises like Mission Impossible, maintaining the charisma and intensity that made him a global icon with enviable energy. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt emerged in the 90s as a symbol of beauty and talent, winning hearts in films like Thelma and Louise, and later shocking in Fight Club. Currently, he is an acclaimed actor and successful producer, with a more mature look and an aura of sophistication that has only grown with age. Leonardo DiCaprio. From a talented teenager in Romeo and Juliet, Leonardo DiCaprio became a global phenomenon with Titanic, solidifying his heartthrob status. Today, he is widely recognized as one of the most respected and awarded actors of his generation, with a career focused on complex dramas and a more serious, engaged image. Keanu Reeves. His cool and enigmatic presence catapulted him to stardom in the 90s, with hits like Speed and, of course, the revolutionary Matrix trilogy. Keanu Reeves continues with a more discreet style and a peculiar life philosophy, but returned to action stardom with the John Wick franchise, showing he still has much to offer. Will Smith. Transitioning from rap to acting, Will Smith exploded in the 90s with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and established himself as a blockbuster star with films like Independence Day and Men in Black. Currently, besides being a successful actor and producer, he is a multifaceted and inspiring figure on social media, with a look that reflects his versatility and maturity. Johnny Depp. With an eccentric and charismatic vein, Johnny Depp captivated audiences in films like Edward Scissorhands, becoming an alternative icon in the 90s. His image has undergone several transformations over the years, with a style that mixes rock star and bohemian, maintaining a unique artistic personality, despite recent controversies. George Clooney. Already known from TV in the air, George Clooney became a quintessential movie heartthrob in the 90s, with films like From Dusk Till Dawn. Today, he is a highly respected director and actor, with graying hair that has only added to his charm and an elegant demeanor that keeps him as one of Hollywood's most desired men. Matthew McConaughey. With his southern drawl and undeniable charisma, Matthew McConaughey stood out in the 90s in films like A Time to Kill and romantic comedies. Currently, he is an acclaimed actor who reinvented his career with intense dramatic roles, including winning an Oscar, and maintains the same characteristic smile and a more introspective aura. Harrison Ford. Already a giant in the 70s, Harrison Ford solidified his action hero status in the 80s with the Indiana Jones films and Blade Runner. He continues to be active, revisiting his iconic roles and showing that age is just a detail for one of the greatest adventurers on the big screen, with a more rugged and wise image. Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze became a symbol of romance and dance with Dirty Dancing in the 80s, and moved audiences in Ghost in the early 90s. Sadly, he left us too soon in 2009, but his charisma, talent, and ability to make audiences dream with love stories live on in his filmography, immortalizing his charm. Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox was the darling of the 80s, immortalized as the iconic Marty McFly in the Back to the Future trilogy, winning everyone over with his humor and energy. Today, he is primarily dedicated to his Parkinson's Research Foundation, which led him to step back from acting, but he maintains his good humor and an inspiring legacy of courage and optimism. Richard Gere. With his mature charm and penetrating gaze, Richard Gere became one of the great heartthrobs of the 80s, with American Gigolo, and a huge success in the 90s with Pretty Woman. He has aged with distinction and elegance, maintaining a striking presence and a career focused on more serious and reflective roles. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner consolidated his image as a classic hero and man of principles in the 80s with The Untouchables and in the 90s with Dances with Wolves, which he also directed. He continues with a solid career in film, and especially on TV with successful series like Yellowstone, maintaining a more rustic look and an authenticity that characterizes him. Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe was one of the most handsome and coveted faces of the 80s, a member of the famous Brat Pack in films like St. Elmo's Fire. Impressively, he seems to defy time, maintaining a remarkably youthful appearance and contagious charisma, continuing to be active in various TV and film productions. Emilio Estevez. As one of the icons of the Brat Pack, Emilio Estevez marked the 80s with films like The Breakfast Club and The Mighty Ducks. Today, he acts and directs with a more discreet image and the demeanor of a mature artist, far from the youthful spotlight, but still with a significant contribution to independent cinema. Val Kilmer. From Iceman in Top Gun in the 80s to Batman in the 90s, Val Kilmer showed his versatility and good looks. After battling throat cancer, his voice and appearance significantly changed, a quite notable before and after, but he remains a dedicated artist, using art to express his resilience. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was one of the biggest action stars and heartthrobs of the 80s and 90s, leading franchises like Lethal Weapon and epic films like Braveheart. After a turbulent period, his image is more reserved, but he continues to be active in both acting and directing, with a presence that reflects his intensity and controversies. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis became the quintessential action hero in the 80s with Die Hard and continued to dominate the box office in the 90s with films like The Sixth Sense. Currently, he has stepped away from acting due to health issues, but his legacy of iconic roles and his sarcastic smile are unforgettable for an entire generation. Kurt Russell. Known for roles in action and adventure films like Escape from New York in the 80s, Kurt Russell maintained a strong presence in Hollywood. He continues to act, often alongside his partner Goldie Hawn, with a more rugged look and an old sea dog aura that only time can bring. Tom Hanks. From a comedian in Big in the 80s to one of the greatest and most respected dramatic actors in cinema, with films like Forrest Gump and Philadelphia in the 90s. Tom Hanks has aged with the image of an all-American good guy, maintaining his likability, versatility, and an exemplary career, always with a warm smile. John Travolta. After a period of less prominence, John Travolta made a triumphant return in the 90s with Pulp Fiction, reinventing his heartthrob image. He continues in cinema with a more mature look and a presence that blends his past charm with present experience, occasionally revisiting his famous dance moves. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington established himself as one of Hollywood's most respected and powerful actors in the 90s. With intense performances in films like Malcolm X and Philadelphia, he has aged with dignity and imposing presence, maintaining his magnetic aura and a career marked by challenging and inspiring roles. Wesley Snipes. In the 90s, Wesley Snipes dominated action cinema, notably as the vampire Hunter Blade. He maintains his unique style and excellent physique, active in new projects, and with the same intensity that established him as one of the greatest African-American action heroes of his time. Christian Slater. The charming bad boy with a husky and unmistakable voice, Christian Slater made his mark in the 80s and 90s in films like Heathers and True Romance. He continues to act in successful TV and film productions with a more sober look and an aura of an experienced actor who still retains that spark of rebellion. Jason Priestley. He was the crush of many teenagers as Brandon Walsh in the series Beverly Hills 90210. One of the biggest teen phenomena of the 90s. Jason Priestley now dedicates himself more to directing and TV roles, showing the marks of time but still recognizable as the heartthrob who defined a generation. Luke Perry. The charismatic and rebellious Dylan McKay from Beverly Hills 90210 was an unforgettable teen icon in the 90s with his mysterious charm. Sadly, Luke Perry passed away too soon in 2019, but his memory and cultural impact remain alive. A true tragic before and after that deeply affected his fans. Matt Damon. Matt Damon burst onto the scene in the 90s with Good Will Hunting, which he co-wrote with Ben Affleck, and Saving Private Ryan. He remains one of Hollywood's most versatile and sought-after actors, with an appearance that reflects his maturity and a solid career, always with the same keen gaze. Ben Affleck. Friend and partner of Matt Damon, Ben Affleck also became a heartthrob and star in the 90s with films like Good Will Hunting and Armageddon. Today, besides acting, he is an award-winning director and screenwriter, with a more serious image and a lifestyle that has kept him consistently in the public and media spotlight. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser captivated audiences with his charisma and physique in adventures like The Mummy in the 90s. After a more reclusive period, he made a triumphant return in recent years, especially with The Whale, showing the physical transformation and emotional depth that led him to an Oscar. Paul Rudd. With his quirky humor and youthful charm, Paul Rudd stood out in the 90s in comedies like Clueless and the series Friends. He seems to defy the laws of gravity, maintaining a remarkably youthful appearance and a talent for comedy that has solidified him as one of Hollywood's most beloved and timeless actors. Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. had his big moment in the 90s, winning an Oscar for his energetic performance in Jerry Maguire. He continues to act with an image that reflects the ups and downs of his career, but his talent and ability to deliver memorable performances remain intact. Freddie Prinze Jr. The darling of late 90s teen romantic comedies such as She's All That and I Know What You Did Last Summer, Freddie Prinze Jr. was the face of youth. He now dedicates himself more to family, voice acting, and personal projects, with a more mature but still recognizable look. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx began gaining recognition in the 90s, initially in comedy and TV, showcasing his versatility in shows like In Living Color. Today, he is an Oscar-winning actor and singer with a look that conveys his energy and multifaceted talent, continuing to be a force in the industry. Ryan Phillip. With his striking good looks, Ryan Phillip was a prominent heartthrob in late 90s teen films and thrillers, like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Cruel Intentions. He maintains excellent physical shape and continues to act in challenging roles, with an appearance that still harks back to his youth, but with more depth. Joshua Jackson. From Pacey and Dawson's Creek, one of the biggest teen hits of the 90s, Joshua Jackson transitioned from a teen idol to a respected actor in acclaimed dramas. He has aged very well, with a more serious and sophisticated image, and a solid career in television and film that showcases his artistic evolution. And that's our incredible trip through time with Clash of Eras. We saw the transformations of 35 famous faces, and it was awesome, right? Now I want to know, which before and after surprised you the most? Drop your comment below. And even better, who would you like to see in our next video? Your suggestion could be the next star. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon and share with your friends. See you on the next time traveling adventure.